What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Generational Sports. Hope everybody is having a fine Monday, February 27th. Josh, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm an idiot. Well, a lot of people knew this already, but I just forget simple things sometimes. And so I'll tell you the backstory as to why I forgot this, right? So I ordered, you ever heard of a Circle water bottle?
No.
All right, so apparently it's this water bottle, right? And it comes with like flavor cartridges, not like a powder or anything. It's like in the straw. Apparently, you can like change how much flavor you want. So when you drink the water, it's supposed to taste like stuff. They got all kinds of flavors. Like I ordered. Now it's water. I'm drinking water here. Remember this. So they had like watermelon lemonade, regular lemonade, a blue raspberry. I got. Then there's like a blue raspberry energy one. They have vanilla coffee, which I got, caramel coffee, peppermint mocha, fruit punch, I believe. All these different things, right? And some of them, give you energy. Some have B vitamins. Some are caffeine. Whatever. Blah blah blah. All these things, right? So I ordered them, and now I'm of course I'm tracking it. Of course, and I'm like, all right, March 3rd, late, almost here. February only got 27 days. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's 28. Leap year is 29. For some reason, I really thought that February had 27 days and then the leap year was the 28th.
Tough.
I'm not a very smart person. I've never claimed to be smart. So, sports related, I got you. General knowledge, might be a little bit of a struggle there. A little bit.
Yeah, I'm not good with how many days are in a month either. I'm like, it's at least 30 for most of them. So
this is true. I just know April has 30 because my mom's birthday is the 30th. Everything else is up in the air. Couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. This doesn't really affect me that much. Yeah, it's just another day in the month. Who cares?
The only reason I know it's 28 days in February is because I have a friend who's born on week.
Okay, see? That's the reason I know April. So I'm right there with you there, boss. But, Josh, I'm supposed to get my it's originally supposed to be in March. Now I'm supposed to get it tomorrow. I'm very excited. And I almost went and got it today because I checked. See, Josh, I'm very impatient. For somebody who procrastinates everything, I'm also very impatient, you know what I mean? Because I look at the tracking today when I wake up just on accident because I still had the tab open on my Safari, whatever. And I look and it says, at post office, like where I live. And I was like, damn, I wonder if I could just go to the post office and pick it up. Right. And then my mom was out and I was like, hey, just, wondering. And she texted me back and was like, the line was out of the post office. I'm not waiting. And I said, all right, fair enough. I'll get it tomorrow. Yeah. But I'm very excited for this new water bottle. That's how I know I'm getting a little, maybe I'm getting a little old here, Josh.
Yeah, excited for like just normal things.
Yeah, a flavored water bottle. I mean, yeah. I'm going to save a lot of. I'm going to save the earth though because it's reusable, obviously, and I'll be drinking a lot of Poland Spring, a lot of plastic bottles. I'm out here trying to save the earth. I'm doing my part. What can I say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also old too, because my favorite Christmas gift this year was socks. So.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you need a good pair. Josh, how you doing though? Enough about me. The people want to know about you.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I was telling you before the show, we had a big rain here. Rained like all day. You wake up the next morning, and it just kind of smells a little funky in the house. So we go check the basement. About 4 feet of water. It was about a foot away from the electric box.
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
Yeah. Just not exactly an ideal situation. So for the past week, we've had people coming here working on it. So you might hear some noises in the background, but we're getting it all fixed. But on the bright side, we didn't have hot water for a couple months. The heater broke. We got a free one, and they're installing it too.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hey, you know what? That's what we call looking on the bright side of things.
Exactly.
That's what we call looking on the bright side.
How are you doing?
Listen, like I said, I'm all right. You know what? Renegades start up in April. I'm also trying to do something on the side with my boy. He's been down in the city doing his thing, and he's going to get an office near me. So I've been going through some of the prerequisites, with his mentor and things of that nature. You know, trying to get caught up to speed. So when he starts an office up here, because I ain't going to the city every day, I'm not doing it. So he's going to get an office up here. I'm probably going to try and do that, go and then have the Renegades starting up in April. So obviously I'll hopefully have both of those things. This will be my second year with the team. So hopefully, you know, when I start applying to different jobs in my field, obviously. In fact, I probably should have it in a better spot. My bachelor's degree finally came in the mail. I graduated in December. I finally got it in the mail.
Hey.
It's underneath my computer right now. In the box, underneath my computer. So
4 years of hard work.
Just for that. I did take it out and look at it a couple times, but hey, you know, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Put it on the wall? I'm good.
Right.
Maybe if I was a doctor, but you know.
Yeah.
So hopefully, you know, a lot of these jobs, 2 years of experience. You're an entry level job. How am I supposed to have 2 years of experience if the entry level wants 2 years? Say, you know what? So hopefully this is my second year. I'll be having some other job opportunities, hopefully after this season, maybe even with the team, I would hope. And hey, we'll move on. Clayton, what's going on?
Good.
Welcome to the show. Hope everybody's having a good one if you're watching. So drop a comment. We like hearing everybody. We like talking to everybody. Any questions about the sports world, which we're about to get into, are very welcome. Hey, we even do a little pop culture here, though. Josh, you been watching The Last of Us?
I have.
Fantastic program.
Love it.
I never played the game because I'm an Xbox guy, so I never had. I mean, I had a PlayStation 2 like everybody else, but I moved on to Xbox, so everything's new to me. There's some things that I've seen just because I'm nosy and like I've accidentally watched, you know, walkthroughs or this and that, but most of it been a surprise. So
yeah, I played it a little bit. I never finished it. Like halfway through episode 1, I was like, okay, yeah, now I remember I did not finish this game at all. But yeah, I mean, been all surprised for me too, which, I mean, I wish I would have played the game so I could see like what's shot for shot, like and all that. But
see, I watch a lot of the YouTube videos breaking down each episode, and they usually go through that. So it's always fun to see that. Hey, it's been good so far though. Big fan of
Ant-Man?
So far. What? I did see Ant-Man. Did you see Ant-Man?
I did see it.
All right, listen. It's 7:15 at the moment right now. I'm looking at my clock. I'm going to give everybody a solid 10 seconds to leave the stream before we talk about Ant-Man, because I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not that kind of guy. So, you know, maybe another 5 seconds here. 4, 3, 2.
I don't think there's too much to spoil.
You don't?
I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna say I loved it.
See, I'm on the. Listen, we've gone over this. I'm the wrong person to really give you an in-depth movie review. Probably, I'm very easily entertained. I don't take things too seriously. I haven't read comics. I'm not like listen. I'm into the movies, right? I loved it. I was a huge fan of that movie.
I think I made the mistake of. I was just super hyped for Kang. And I think I made the mistake of going into this movie kind of forgetting
that they have to set him up first.
Like, it's an Ant-Man movie. Like, I went into it thinking, oh, Kang, it's going to be so cool. He's going to kick ass. Oh, Bug is yelling up a storm right now.
I saw a few people, you know, talk about that. Like, because listen, like I said, this is the spoiler version of our review. So obviously, you know, at the end, you know, he gets shrunk down, kind of like what they did to what were they calling him? MODOK, which was fantastic. So he gets shrunk down again. So people were, MODOK was fantastic. That was hilarious. So Kang gets shrunk down again. Some people were saying he's in another dimension that's even smaller than the quantum realm. Whatever. Here's my thing. I kind of I went into it expecting Kang to be like this big bad, but also in the back of my head being like, this is the second time we're technically seeing him because of the Loki TV stuff. But, you know, they got to set him up. I mean, obviously, the first movie you see Thanos, he's sitting in a chair, he doesn't do anything. It's a post-credit scene or whatever. So, I do have to set him up. And I also have a sneaky suspicion, because especially, you know, the end-credit scene where all the Kangs are there. I also did not know that there were two, so I left before the second one. Shout out YouTube. I watched it anyway. That was another cool one setting up Loki season 2. So I don't think this is the big bad Kang. I really don't. So people are saying that
they can't bring out the baddest one yet. You know,
that's what I'm saying. Like people are like, "Oh, Kang is supposed to be worse than Thanos," blah blah, all this. But I just don't think he's the big bad. I think the guy that, like, when he said all of them, I don't even think all of them were. I feel like there's that one more that, like, maybe in Kang Dynasty, they defeat everybody and they're like walking away like, "Oh, thank God we did it," and like that one more comes out and is like, "Oh, you took out the easy versions of me. I've been killing those guys for centuries." And then it's just like this big bad, like, "Oh my God, Thanos looks like a mouse." I'm hoping that's kind of what it is. But I liked that Kang, bro. The part of the movie where the dad, I can't remember his name now. Hank, Hank pulls up with all the ants. Yeah. That was so fire. So good.
No, visually amazing. Like, just the background of everything. It was very pleasing visually. I liked it a lot, but I don't know. I just got myself overhyped for Kang when I should have known, like, he's not going to be the most badass version of himself yet. But, I mean, like how you said you watch the breakdowns of The Last of Us, New Rockstar, they always do breakdowns of all the movies. And they kind of got a cool theory that, like, when he got shrunk down, like, now we're going to see all the other Kangs, they're going to get badder and badder, and then he's going to come back at the end and just be like the ultimate Kangs. But I'm super excited. That post-credit scene got me so hyped, though, just seeing all the different Kangs. I was like, oh my God. And then Loki and what's his name?
Mobius.
Mobius, yeah, that was awesome. So super hyped for it.
That's the other thing too, Josh. We're talking about this. Speaking of upcoming things, Mandalorian in 2 days.
Yes.
I mean, what a time! What a time to be alive.
It's beautiful.
Shout out hold on, Josh. Watch me, ready? Shout out my guy Mando, bro.
Oh yeah.
Shout out Mando. Shout out the Lego Mando.
And one thing I didn't like is how, like, I love MODOK because I've played a lot of different Marvel games and he's like been a villain in a lot of the movies in the games, and I just didn't like how they ended with him. I was not a fan of that. Like, I get the comedic relief and all that, but I wanted him to stay badass, like stay the angry dude. But coming in, going after Kang and being like, "My name's Darren and I'm not a dick." Like, I was like, okay, it's funny, but I wanted him to stay badass.
Like the R2D2 for their universe. It gave me a little Star Wars vibe, that movie too. Definitely. My boy said, I watched it with my boy, and he was like, "Yo, this is kind of like Star Wars." I said, "That's fine with me. Marvel and Star Wars collide." I was like, "That'd be lit." Yeah. So, but listen, that's our little, I guess, pop culture section of the episode. Usually we do that in the middle, break things up, but hey, we haven't talked about it yet. We were excited. And Josh, what do I always say? It's our show. It's our show. We do what we want here. But with all that being said, let's move on. Because Josh, when I tell you I'm excited, it's an understatement. And I'm also excited because there's one thing that happened, or happening, that I didn't even know was happening, because it's been overshadowed so much. So let's look right here. We got UFC 285 coming up. It might be a little small. Let me see if I can. Listen, I'm just going to zoom in over here on the main card. Let's be honest with each other here. All right. And listen, there's some good fights here, Josh. I don't know if you know anything about some of these guys. I've said it before. I'm a very casual. I just started watching a couple years ago, so I'm still learning names. I do watch all the fight nights and things like that, but, you know, I feel like I'm seeing a new fighter every single time that I turn on the screen, so it's a little overwhelming sometimes. But, Josh, I didn't even know Valentina was fighting on the card.
Really?
Bro, I found out Valentina was fighting on this card like 2 weeks ago. Everybody kept saying Jones and Gone, which, don't get me wrong, the return of John Jones is the biggest story here. I'm not going to sit here and argue that with anybody. But Valentina Shevchenko is an absolute killer. Oh, yeah. I mean, she can go out there, put you in the crucifix, and just rain down elbows on you. And Jessica Andrade knows a lot about that. So I didn't even know, like I said, I didn't even know Valentina was on this card. It makes it even better. I mean, obviously, I want to see Jones. Gane is very good as well. But I love me some Valentina Shevchenko. That made this card, like, I would have been, like, this card without that fight on it, to me, like a 7, just for the simple fact of Jones, right? Valentina on the card is an automatic 10 for me. Maybe because I didn't know that there was a second big fight like that, and obviously she is the champion, so it's a title fight. Title fights are always fun no matter what, unless you're, Rose Namajunas and Esperanza, I believe her name was. That was the worst fight I've ever seen in my life. But I'm very excited now. I can't wait. I will be at B-Dubs with the boys Saturday night, hammering down some food, a couple drinks here and there, and hoping for Valentina to come out on top and for Jones to come out on top. I mean, come on, listen. We always make our predictions, but there's no way. I mean, Josh, I guess I won't speak for her. There ain't no way I'm picking against John. There's no way I'm picking against Valentina. So I'm excited for this card now. I'm very happy for this card now.
Well, we can't, just completely be okay with it yet because it's not Saturday. It's not the walkout yet. So we can't just be like it's happening yet. All right, we gotta brace ourselves for all the possibilities. But it is overall, as a main card, pretty good. Bo Nickel is a rising star in the UFC too. Jeff Neal's had some great moments in the UFC. But obviously, these top 2 fights, I mean, I don't know too much about Grasso. Valentina's always a show she puts on, a beautiful performance every time. And I mean, John Jones has been tweeting like Cyril Gane is nothing to him. Like he's saying Thiago Santos on Twitter was a much harder matchup than what he's getting ready for. I think he might be underestimating Gane a little bit. Cyril Gane is a beast.
See, I'm just not sure, though, because I know he's been tweeting a lot, and I get you. But he also did post that one tweet where he said how Gane came out with that statement that said, like, oh, I don't really train until there's a fight camp. Like, other than that, I'm just chilling or doing whatever. And John tweeted, like, I don't know if this is bait, but I've been training, hard for however long, blah, blah, blah. So, like, I'm not taking the bait or whatever. So, I mean, how long does it take to send a tweet? You know what I mean?
Right.
And we always complain about, when other people do this, like, oh, this guy can't have a life outside of what he does. So, I mean, I assume that he's training his ass off. I mean, he hasn't been in the ring for 3 years. He's for a belt. He's moving up, which is what we wanted to see for a while. Obviously, we don't want to see him and Francis, but, man, I'm still holding out hope that Francis comes back. I think he does his boxing thing one time, McGregor style, and then comes back and has a mega fight. Because, I mean, that's back-to-back big paydays. Imagine he fights. Listen, by the way, if I'm boxing, how do you not just do Francis Ngannou and Deontay Wilder? How do you not do that?
Because I think they're reaching for Tyson Fury. I think that's what they want. And I love what Tyson
understand,
said.
Right? I understand. Robin?
You hear what Tyson Fury said about the Ngannou fight?
What did he say?
He said he wants it to be in a cage and Mike Tyson to ref it. Like, I'm down for that.
If that actually happened, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Gane is going for the payday. Like, that's not Gane. Gane is going for the payday. Like, that's what he left for.
See, here's my only thing, right? And no matter who Francis fights, I guess I don't really give him a chance. Because, like, you even hear UFC fighters talk about it, and I listen to a lot of interviews and things like that. I think, I can't remember who I was listening to, somebody on Joe Rogan's podcast, one of his MMA episodes, and they said, 99% of the time, if a boxer goes into the UFC, they're losing, and if a UFC fighter goes into boxing, they're going to lose that fight. So obviously, I'm just, running the scenarios. I don't think Francis is going to beat anybody. Then again, with the power that he has, they said it's like getting hit with a Volkswagen. So I guess anything is possible. You land that one punch. But I feel like the Tyson fight just isn't good because he's so good. Like, he's making heavyweights look like, they're amateurs in there and things like that. At least, no offense, because he could literally kill me, legitimately kill me. But Wilder isn't the prototypical boxer. They always say, like, he's not a boxer, he's kind of a puncher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where he doesn't have the technique and everything like that. He really is looking for that right hand and, hoping to put you to La La Land. So,
I mean, the only person Wilder really hasn't been able to beat is Fury. Like, other than that, he's knocked out almost everyone he's gotten in the ring with.
Yeah.
I think he might have knocked out everybody, actually. I think every other fight he's killed somebody.
I don't know. I feel like Francis and Wilder is so much better because
I think it's a better fight too, but they're gonna push for
no,
Fury.
yeah, payday wise, it probably is Fury. You're right.
Yeah.
But I mean, Wilder and Ngannou in the same. First of all, I hope they reinforce the ring because
Yeah.
that's a lot of body.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I keep almost calling him John, but Ngannou's going to get a huge payday either fight. Like the Wilder and Hit fight is huge too. So
I'm excited for this card though. I mean, like I said, I didn't even know Valentina was fighting, but this is going to be fun. I can't wait to see John back in there. Do you know how disappointing it's going to be? Like we've been waiting for so long. Like, I don't really get hurt when certain fighters lose because I don't think I'm that invested yet. Like, when Izzy lost, I was kind of upset, whatever. I liked Usman a lot, so, like, I was kind of sick when he lost. Whenever McGregor would lose, I'd be kind of tight just because I like them. But everybody loves John. Unless, you're, like, DC, which, by the way, did you see that whole thing where he's like, DC, like, you can call the fight, like, I hope you do, blah, blah, blah. Like, I really do like you, man. Put all that behind us, whatever. So, yeah. It'd be cool if they ever became pals almost.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see what DC says during the fight. That's going to be interesting.
Who is he calling it?
Yeah, it's the main crew.
It is? It's Joe and...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nah, that's going to be fun. I'll have to go back and watch it because I won't be able to hear it at B-Dose. I'm going to have to go back and listen to it and see what he says.
They can't. We need this crew for like the next 4 pay-per-views because all the next pay-per-views are just mega fights. Like they need to be there for this. Like I don't.
What's next after this? Leon and Usman 3.
Yeah, that one.
And then it's Izzy.
Yeah, Izzy versus Pereira, and then they just announced Aljamain versus Henry Cejudo.
Yeah. Woo! What a time!
Beautiful.
All right, let's move on from that though. Real quick, Josh, did you catch the Logan Paul?
I caught the highlights. I did not watch the whole fight.
I watched the whole fight, praying for a Tommy Fury knockout, of course, because I'm a human being and wanted Jake to lose. It was. I'm not gonna lie. Like I would be the first one to sit here and talk on him, which both once again I'd like to say could probably kill me. And then again, not really saying much. I'm an out of shape, fat kid. So, but it was actually pretty good. There was a lot of, hugging going on and things like that. I wish there was some, more exchanges, but there were a few times, like this was the first time you could really see Jake was in trouble in certain spots. And, I think, he knocked, Fury got knocked down in the last round. People thought that maybe that could help Jake get the win. I will say 2 things that kind of annoyed me. Well, actually, maybe one main thing. The commentators, you could just tell everybody wanted Jake to win.
Really?
Like it was the most watching it. It was like, oh yeah, Jake. I think it's really I gave Fury the first 2 rounds. The third was a toss up. Then probably Jake won, and then I probably give the rest to Tommy besides the last round. Maybe another one of those rounds over there in the middle, like between 4th and 8, you can give to Jake or whatever. But it's such a close fight. Like I really think Jake is going to pull this out with that knockdown. I think, and then you see the judges' scorecards was 76-73, and the one scored it for Paul. And that was the thing. Once they said split decision, I was like, oh, Tommy's definitely not winning a split decision. I was like, they're not going to give that. Because listen, if any sport is rigged, it's boxing. I'm telling you. If any sport is rigged, we talk about football all the time. You want to talk about other sports. Boxing, definitely rigged in some point somehow. But so I was like, oh, they're definitely going to give it to Jake. And they said Tommy, and I was like, oh my God. He really did it. Really, really did it. But it was, it was actually a pretty decent fight to watch, and not bad. I will say the one commentator did say, because Jake hit Tommy with a couple, of those, big right hands and things like that have knocked out, Nate Robinson and Tyron Woodley and all that. And he said, that's what happens. You're fighting a younger man and not, somebody twice your age who's been through battles. Like Anderson Silva, when he got knocked down, Anderson Silva was 50 years old. He'd been getting his face knocked in for 30 years now.
Yeah.
So he hit Tommy with a few punches that, you can kind of tell maybe that's somebody else they're going down, but strong chin there.
Yeah, I feel like it's been pretty obvious. Like those other people, Nate Robinson, like come on, like what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, what?
Retired NBA player, never boxed, and then like Woodley and Silva, they've already accomplished everything you could accomplish in their sport, so they're not really hungry like Fury was. Like he wants this, like he's trying to make a name for himself as a boxer, so it's very different when you're fighting someone like that. But yeah, watching the highlights, I mean, I didn't get to see the full round, so obviously I didn't get to see all the little points get racked up, but I thought Fury landed not like the bigger shots, but more effective shots than Jake did, and I'm just glad he lost finally.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to the NBA. We'll do this real quick. Josh, what do you think about Russell Westbrook on the Clippers? How much you think it really does help them? I mean, hey, his first game in, they go to double overtime. What was it, like 170?
176, 175. It was. I watched that game.
I wasn't watching the game. I wish I did, because I'm playing Xbox and I look up on my TV, whatever, and I'm like reading the bottom of the screen and it says like 150 to 150 Clippers and Kings. I was like, I was like, God damn! I was like, they're scoring. And I was like, wait, they're not even in overtime yet. I was like, yo, imagine they go into OT, and all of a sudden I like look again and it's like 160, or it was like 170, 170. I'm like, oh my God, double overtime. I was like, they're gonna score 200.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. But what are you thinking about Russ? How's it gonna change the trajectory? Let's use that word, huh?
Well, first, I'm just really glad. I mean, he's still in LA, but he's away from the toxic organization where if you're not, the best player on the planet, you get hate, and you're just the worst player on the planet. And I think he has an opportunity to be himself. Now, how long will Tyronn Lue allow that? They need to play him, Kawhi, and PG together a lot, because obviously Russ and PG have chemistry. I mean, Paul George's best season of his career, where he was, an MVP Finals, Defensive Player of the Year Finals, was alongside Russ. But Kawhi needs to get into that chemistry too. I mean, the depth on this Clippers team, like their bench unit is like, if the starting five was out for the Clippers and they were playing like the Hornets or like the Rockets, I'd take the Clippers without their five best players, just because that's how deep they are now, adding Bones Highland, Eric Gordon, and Plumlee. But I think Russ, I mean, in that first game, he had 17 and 14. And obviously, box score watchers are saying, but 7 turnovers. Like, did you watch the game? Like, he impacted the game in a much more positive way than John Wall and Reggie Jackson were all season. So I think it definitely kind of moves the needle a little bit if they can play a lot together in the last stretch. They're a playoff team for sure. I don't think they'll fall into the play-in. I think they might stay at that 6th seed, which I think they might be at. Or I don't know, they might have dropped already. But I think they'll be a playoff team. Obviously, the Suns are the favorite in the West. Denver's probably above LA too, but I think the Clippers, if they can get Russ, a confident Russ, I mean, he shot the ball well that game too. I mean, he's going to get double-digit assists very often on this team with the weapons they have. So I think that it's a big needle mover if they allow him to be him. If they try to force him to be a different type of player like the Lakers did, it's not going to work. They actually did even better than that. They had him setting screens and rolling. Like, I've been waiting to see Russ do that since he hasn't been the number one guy for a while now. And it worked out really well. He was finding open shooters, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see with how long load management's becoming a bigger issue than it already was now with Kawhi and all that. But we'll have to see how long they can play together during the regular season, who their matchup is. But I think they have a real chance to make the finals. I mean, 2 years ago, they made the conference finals without Kawhi in the lineup at all. So now you're going to have a healthy Kawhi and Russell Westbrook, and we know in the playoffs he can put up crazy numbers. So
George has the best year with Russell over here in OKC.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what they can do. I think I picked them to win it all with preseason just because I had high hopes for John Wall coming back, and that did not exactly turn out how I wanted it to. But I think they're top 3 for me right now. The Kings are good.
The West is wide open too.
It's
obvious, like you said, it's obviously the Suns. The Nuggets are very good, but they're also
not deep anymore.
It's not deep, and I also feel like you have high hopes for them, and the playoffs start, and it never turns out right.
Yeah. It's like how Utah was with Donovan Mitchell and Gobert. Great regular season team, but they fall apart in the playoffs.
And then, I mean, the Kings are there.
But they're young. I don't think they have real title hopes. I mean, the Lakers, if they get in, they're a threat, maybe. The Mavericks.
Yeah, I hate that, though. They haven't been good all year, but now if they get in, they're a threat.
Well, they got a good roster now. That's the difference. They got a very nice roster now. D'Lo, Malik Beasley, Vanderbilt, those additions are so huge. And I just can't believe the Jazz just gave it to them like that. That was just crazy to me. Insane.
I mean, I don't know. The West is just open, so I feel like it's every man for himself. Obviously, over there in that conference, I feel like the East is more. It's very competitive.
It's whoever's healthy.
Yeah, Boston and Milwaukee. I mean, hey, shout out to
Philly,
Knicks.
maybe.
Shout out to Knicks actually doing something.
The NBA post All-Star break has been insane, though. I mean, Dame just dropped 71 last night.
71 last night.
71. The Lakers came back 27 points.
That Joel Embiid full court shot that didn't count.
God, so close.
Bro, I was watching the end of that because what was on during that? There was something on. Was that Saturday?
I believe so. Yeah.
So maybe that was that an afternoon or a night though? Do you remember?
Afternoon, I think it was a night game.
Maybe it was either before or after the fight.
No, it was afternoon. It was afternoon.
So maybe it was before the UFC fight, and I was just trying to watch something. I was on Xbox, and I remember I looked up, and I was like, oh, like damn, what a shot from Tatum! Like that was crazy. And then they inbounded to Embiid, and he did that. I was like, oh my god, like, no way. And then it didn't count. Tough. What could? Yeah, you rack that up to greatest things that never counted.
Right.
That DeAndre Hopkins catch between the legs.
Mm-hmm.
That one. Oh, so many.
This is unrelated. I don't know why it just popped in my head. What's up with the shot clock in the MLB? What are we doing here?
Josh, don't worry. We're going to get there.
What are we doing?
We're going to get there. I actually added that to the doc because, during the NFL offseason, it's a little bit more difficult to come up with topics, but obviously we still do a fantastic job. So I did add that in all the way at the end of the show because I want to get your thought on some of these new rule changes. So we're going to get there, but let's go into the NFL, which is what I was, kind of alluding to a little bit because the draft. Listen, it's already basically March. Let's be honest, February 27th. It's basically March. The draft is in April.
Combine week.
The draft is in April. So listen, we're basically at the draft right now. You're gonna have the combine, like Josh just said. So we're obviously gonna have a lot of, where's this player going? Where's this player going? But how about we do it first, huh? This is the NFL draft order right here. Shout out Tankathon. Love Tankathon.
Oh yeah,
big fan. So Josh, how about we do this? The quarterbacks, and where they're ranked about, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know the big three maybe, with, Stroud and Bryce Young. I know about Will and Richardson and all that.
Those are the only ones that really kind of matter right now. We don't. Henry Hooker got injured, so we don't know who he's going to bounce back. There's a couple other guys that could be a Bailey Zappi or.
So those four, huh? We're predicting those four. You want to say?
Yeah, the top four.
Right,
those are the four that they might all go top 10.
I'm saying. How about you throw the names out? I'll give who I think, then you give who you think. What do we think about that, huh?
I like that. Now, are we gonna? I think it's pretty set in stone. Chicago will not be picking one.
Yeah.
So who do we want to say?
I'll say we do this. How about? Hey, listen, we can spice it up even more. How about we do current draft order first? You say you just look at this and the first guess you have, but then your second one. We'll do Bryce Young first, right? Maybe the number one. So listen, I think if the draft order stayed exactly like this, he would go to Houston. Honestly, I think he still goes to Houston anyway because I think Houston might try and trade up for that number 1 pick. And, trade with Chicago, they only have to move up 1 spot. Now, that is saying a lot because it's 1 spot, but it's 1 spot that doesn't need a quarterback. So that means all the other teams that are trying to trade up to number 1, they also know that they can trade up and get their quarterback 1. They got to jump ahead of Houston because obviously Houston needs that quarterback. They're not going to go with Davis Mills for the rest of their eternity there. So honestly, I think either way, Bryce Young goes to Houston.
I disagree. I think either way, CJ Stroud goes to Houston. I think Bryce Young is my rankings for quarterbacks in this draft. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis.
Okay.
And Will Levis used to be 3, but he dropped to 4 because guess what? He puts mayonnaise in his coffee. So
yeah, listen, I'm a big mayonnaise guy. In fact, I'm going to have some burgers after this show. Throw some delicious mayonnaise on there. I had a sandwich yesterday. Threw some delicious mayonnaise on there. A nice ham, cheese, pepperoni. Coffee though? What are we talking about?
Yeah, I saw a video of it. He puts mayo in his coffee. So that's negative on your draft grade. Like it has to be.
He should be in prison. If I'm being honest,
he should not be allowed to play in the league. But,
shouldn't be. Yeah. He should not be a free man right now.
Yeah, but I don't know. CJ Stroud to Houston just makes sense. Teams obviously are worried a little bit about Bryce Young because of the height, which I guess I understand. But CJ Stroud to Houston just seems like it just makes sense. I think if you get Bryce Young, you need a lot of other things in place. I think a guy like CJ Stroud, he's more pro style. He's a more accurate thrower. I think he can do more with less. And they obviously probably have the least in the league. So I think CJ Stroud to Houston would be like my one guarantee, I think.
This is not to do with quarterbacks, but I'm living in a fantasy world right now, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine Chicago trading with Houston? So now Houston has to give up picks. Chicago gets the number 2 pick, right? And then the Raiders call Chicago at 2 because they're scared of Indianapolis at 4. They're going to get that and be like, hey, I know you just traded for the second technically out of 1, but we're going to need number 2 there because we can't let Indy jump us.
The possibilities of what Chicago could gain with that number 1 pick are just endless.
And then listen, so maybe they're sitting there at 7, right? Or maybe, listen, let's just live in an even better fantasy world. Let's say they have the number 2 pick now. Indianapolis calls them up and is like, hey, we need that because we need to pick a quarterback desperately. They go down to 4. Arizona stays at 3 because it's like, listen, brother, we need a lot of help too. So let's get us a nice, defender here. Whatever. Pick whoever they want, right? So now Chicago's at 4. They've just traded away 1 and 2. And then listen, Carolina's at 9. And they're like, we can't let the Raiders pick ahead of us. So let's grab the number 4 pick, and we'll give you number 7. I mean, could you just imagine everything that could happen?
I want it all to happen. I want it to be like a trickle-down trade.
I'm not even a Chicago fan. Chicago means nothing to me. Nothing.
Hey, shut up. Watson.
Well, besides you. But, I would love to see them say, maybe because I like Fields and all that, but I just want craziness. Craziness makes everything more fun. And Chicago trades down to 2, and it's like, nope, never mind. They're going down to 4. Oh, wait. Now Carolina and Vegas, they're battling out for it. Blah, blah.
A sneaky team, now that we're talking about Chicago trading that pick, a sneaky team I think could jump up to 1 is maybe Washington. I think, because they have an
interest. That they were going with, who's their quarterback right now?
Sam Howell?
Yeah, they said they were going with Howell.
Yeah, but, off of that 1 game, or do you want to go after Bryce Young?
Or, hey, do they say they're going with Howell, hoping that he's bad, and next year they can draft number 1 overall?
The Bucs are already doing that. The Bucs are already going after Caleb Williams. But I think, because I don't think they want to pay Chase Young either. He came off that injury. He had an okay rookie season, got that injury, hasn't played much. They got to pay him in a couple of years. He's a good trade package piece. I can see Washington making a sneaky move.
You know what's going to make me sad, Josh? The fact that none of this is going to happen.
Nah, Chicago's going to take Will Anderson.
Yeah, Chicago's going to take whatever the best defenders there.
Mm-hmm.
Houston will pick somebody. Arizona will pick somebody. You know, Indianapolis will take whatever second best quarterback there is.
I think Will Levis to Indiana, back to quarterbacks. I think Will Levis to Indy makes a lot of sense too. Obviously, they kind of have to go quarterback. You know,
yes, they
don't have one. So I think Stroud and Bryce Young will be the first two picks. It's just who's picking one, and possibly who's picking two if Houston decides to jump up. But I think Will Levis is going to have a higher draft stock than Anthony Richardson because people just don't love Anthony Richardson's tape throwing wise.
I've heard a lot that he's much more project like.
Yeah, he's a guy you, I guess, want to sit for a little bit, but I don't know. I think he was very low on my draft board, like early off season or post college football season, but I've watched a lot more of him now. His pocket presence is insane. The way obviously he can run the ball like crazy. Like he's a dual threat guy. He's got arm strength out of this world too. I think it's more of the decision making, but when you're a college guy jumping the NFL, no one is exactly great at decision making because you've never played against this talent ever. You know, it's grown men now. You're not playing against guys your age that have the same lifestyle as you. You're playing against guys that are in their 30s with 3 kids. Like,
they didn't have to go to algebra. First thing in the morning.
Yeah, so it's very different for all these.
They had their nanny take their kids to school so they could sleep in a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. But I think Will Levis, I think he's anywhere in between that 4 and 6 range. I could see all 3 of those teams taking him. I could see Indy taking him. I could see Seattle saying, hey, we know Geno had a great year, but what if he doesn't? Let's take this guy and have a future guy behind him. Detroit, similar to Seattle, Goff played good for us, but what if he, has a down year next year? Let's get this guy. Will Levis is, I think the only thing that really impresses me about his tape is that he played at Kentucky where all of his weapons had left and he's playing in the SEC, against Alabama, against LSU, against Tennessee. Like he played the top teams all season and his tape is pretty good. I don't know. I don't love taking quarterbacks from basketball schools. Just never seems to work out for teams too well. A couple Duke guys, Daniel Jones, didn't work out. North Carolina, we'll see how Sam Howell does, but Mitchell Trubisky didn't exactly work out. So I'm not a big fan of that. And then, Anthony Richardson is also in a weird spot. I could see him going anywhere from 4 to 9. Indy could take a chance on him. Same reasons for everything I just said for Levis, but I think he is a Carolina Panther. I truly do. I think there were some comments made today by a couple, insiders that were saying that the Panthers are all in on Anthony Richardson. Some people even had us trading up to 3 to get him. I don't think we have to. I think he'll be there for us at 9. And then, then we're in a weird situation. I'd like to see Corral start before Anthony Richardson, but it'll obviously be a quarterback competition between those two. But yeah, I think all 4 guys go in the top 9.
It's funny because I feel like we always talk about how much you need a quarterback, but then also like there's so much quarterback talent in the league now that it's like, damn, does this team really need a quarterback? They're like this, that, and then these drafts come up, and then you really look at everything again. You're like, okay, never mind. Like Chicago doesn't, but Houston needs a quarterback. Obviously, Indy needs a quarterback. Vegas needs their quarterback. You guys need a quarterback.
I think Vegas
might need a quarterback. Like, let's be honest.
I think Atlanta and Vegas, I'm not confident they'll take quarterback. I think Las Vegas is like, Carson Wentz is available. Let's do it. I think they're one of
Jared
those
Stidham over there.
Yeah, I think they're one of those teams. Atlanta, I think they're going to give a full season to Ritter.
Yeah, Atlanta will give a full season to Ritter. I agree with that. But listen, does Tennessee want to give a full season to Malik Willis?
I wish they would, but they won't.
It's Green Bay. Now they're going to have Jordan.
The Jets, Jets could trade up.
Jets might either have Derek Carr or, Aaron Rodgers.
Jackson.
Hey, listen. Hey, Houston. I know that's what a lot of people keep saying, that Atlanta should just trade everything and get Lamar.
I hate that. That'd be terrible. Well, actually, that'd be a fun offense. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Lamar.
Cordero Patterson in the backfield with Lamar.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right. Listen, I'm not against it. I'm not against it. All right. I mean, hey, we kind of just touched on it a little bit. So how about we dive fully into it with Lamar Jackson? And if he really does want out of the Baltimore, right?
I don't know why he hasn't yet. Where has he?
What do you mean?
They've been so disrespectful towards him.
Yeah. I mean, I can't. I think the thing that if I'm Lamar and I'm Petty, right? The fact that they paid, what's his name? The linebacker they traded for from the Bears.
Patrick Queen. I mean, not Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith.
Yeah. The fact that they traded Roquan Smith and then paid him before I got mine, I'd be very upset. Very upset. Now, I would throw something crazy out there, Josh. Talking about, I don't know, listen, maybe it's not even the best fit, but I think the best situation for him. Believe it or not, I think it would be the Jets.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get Lamar on the Jets, right? Listen, if they have the 31st worst quarterback in the league last year instead of the 32nd, they're in the playoffs. They should have won both the Patriot games. They should have beat the Bills once. Excuse me, choking over here. So that's another 3 wins. They should have been in the playoffs last year, if we're all being honest, right? If you watch those games. You get Lamar over there. You get Breece Hall back, who was going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was an absolute animal. You pair that with a number 1 wide receiver, obviously Garrett Wilson, who did win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Maybe you try and draft somebody else in the draft. Obviously, you're going to have to give up a lot of picks. So maybe you find somebody in the 3rd, 4th round. You draft somebody there. Or, hey, you go steal Jacoby Myers from the Patriots. And then you pair that with that defense, how they played last year, with Sauce and, Quentin Williams and all those names over there on defense. I think, listen, I don't know about fit because I don't know what the offensive scheme is and everything like that. Getting into the X's and O's, that's above my non-existent pay grade. But I think the Jets would be a great spot for Lamar.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the most team ready to suit him. I think. Who's their offensive coordinator? The other LaFleur?
They fired him, remember, and they got Hackett.
Oh yeah, they did get Hackett. I mean, Hackett, we'll see how he bounces back, but I mean,
he was good with AA, Ron.
That's true. I mean, there's not too many teams at play here, I guess, because you got to. I mean, look at who was all in play for Deshaun. I mean, there were only like 4 teams final. Like
see, but that's also different to me, though. He had all that baggage coming with him.
Well, people don't exactly love Lamar either.
Yeah, but he doesn't have 30 seconds.
He doesn't have Deshaun level baggage.
Yeah,
not that bad.
He doesn't have 30 ongoing cases against him.
Yeah, but I mean, the Ravens kind of dug themselves in a hole because when that happened, they were kind of predicting their problems. They were like, this is going to make every quarterback one fully guaranteed. Now Lamar's like, yeah, you think? I want 300 M's. Like, no
and
question.
I want a guarantee.
And then they tried to play into that. You're making millions. They were like, we offered him 134 mil. That's
the thing that annoyed me is, and listen, I wouldn't say that I'm not a Lamar fan. I'm just not in love with, I feel like, what everybody else is. The other thing that would annoy me if I was Lamar, that when the GM came out and said, oh, well, when you pay the quarterback, it's a lot more difficult to build around it. If I'm Lamar, build around me. I've been on a rookie contract the last 4 years. I'm throwing to 95-year-old Deshaun Jackson.
Sammy Watkins.
You haven't built anything around me when I wasn't making money. So even if I took your team-friendly offer, I probably still wouldn't have anybody around me. So I might as well max it out.
No, that it's factual they haven't. They came out with that list of the teams that spent the least on their offenses. Baltimore was 32nd. They spent no money on their offense. I mean, if they're not going to, I mean, they drafted Rashad Bateman, and that's their argument for we put pieces around you. Like, thanks, you gave me one guy. Like,
Who's been hurt.
Yeah, so Lamar seems, he's been handling this way better than I would. I mean, he's just doing the subtle tweets and deleting pictures and all that
and
stuff.
Liking things.
Yeah, he's doing all this subtle
my thumb
stuff.
slips, my bad.
Yeah, I would be speaking out way more. Like, listen, trade me. Like, you guys are nothing without me. Congrats, you got. Well, they do have a Pro Bowl quarterback behind them, Tyler Huntley. So technically, they'd be okay. They got a Pro Bowl.
Don't even get me started on that, bro. Don't even do it.
But I mean, I think I don't want him to be in Baltimore anymore. If he's gonna waste away, he's still gonna be amazing, but he's in a very tough division. I mean, like, that division's not going to get any easier. Cincinnati's going to keep getting better. The Steelers have a great young core. I don't think Deshaun's going to be bouncing back, though. I don't think I think Cleveland's going to be regretting that for
really.
Yeah, I think that might be dead over there. I think it might be.
Interesting.
But I hope Lamar does win out. Not only because I would love him in Carolina and I would give them every pick for the rest of our existence for him, but I just would like to see him in a better team, where, he has an opportunity to show he can throw the ball. I mean, when you're throwing to, like you said, 80-year-old Deshaun Jackson, he's not exactly catching everything. Maybe all these other practice squad guys that are getting called up aren't exactly the best route runners or have the best hands on the team. I would love to see him play with someone like Garrett Wilson. Corey Davis would be their wide receiver number 1 in Baltimore. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That'd be
probably be a giant step up from what they've ever had.
Yeah. Yeah, I think both New York teams.
They tried Dez Bryant for a half a year too.
Yeah. I think both New York teams, low key, the Giants could be in play for him too. Danny Dimes is not holding. He said 45
million.
45.
If I was the Giants, I would immediately call the NFL and say that he's on drugs.
When we were arguing about it on this show, it was like 32 mil. Is what we were saying. Like, he might have to give it to him.
45? On what planet is Daniel Jones a $45 million quarterback?
He wants $2 million for every touchdown he scored last year. So it's just the way it goes.
That's the thing. Oh, he had such a good year. They went to the playoffs. He had like 15 passing touchdowns. And he had, don't get me wrong, I think he also had like 7 or 9 on the ground. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what, you had 20-something combined? Mahomes, Allen, Herbert have 20 touchdown passes by the 8th game of the year.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, gotta get the bag.
Drugs are a powerful thing, people. Just some quick things here, too. I don't even got to go too in-depth on them. Just a speed round, I'll say. Wentz got cut by the commies. He's out of there. What do you think's next for him, Josh? Anything?
I mean, somebody's going to offer him a job. He is making a living off of that 2017 run he had, making a killing off of it. I said it a little bit earlier. I think Las Vegas just seems like a Wentz place for no reason at all. He might go there. I mean, maybe if the Giants don't pay Danny, they go get Wentz. I mean, anywhere that isn't drafting a quarterback and just kind of needs a guy.
Maybe the Jets lose out. Maybe the Jets wait for Rodgers. Carr signs, and then Rodgers says, "Nah, I'm only playing for the Packers."
I think we'll find out a lot about Aaron Rodgers tomorrow.
Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays over there on Pat McAfee. I didn't even realize that they were back today. I was very excited when
I've been waiting. Man. 10 days without the boys.
Nah, it's just
it sucks.
It's too much. It's too much. Shouldn't be allowed. Russell Wilson. Some things coming out about him that he wanted Pete Carroll and the GM fired, and they basically said, "Yeah, go scratch."
Yeah.
Listen. I feel like Russ played that "oh shucks, jolly G." Yeah.
Golly G.
Oh yeah, there we go. Guy for so long. And like there's just been some cracks in the armor here, like the private office.
Mm-hmm.
And now it comes out that he wanted them fired, and then also things that like former teammates didn't really talk to him about. Russ might be a little scumbag.
He might be. It's not been good so far. I mean, you're right. He was very good at not getting any fingers pointed at him. He was very good at making sure he was like, what, me? Nah, no way. Look at me.
I
Look at
love
me.
these guys.
You see all these videos I'm posting? Look at me. I'm just such a nice guy.
I love Jesus. I could never.
Yeah, look at my family. Look at all this. But
it's
not going well for him. Sean Payton said he's cutting all that offense.
Yeah, he's saying own quarterback. Oh, he said I'm not aware of that, but that'll stop anyway. I said,
yeah, so maybe it's the best thing that could happen to Russ. Is Sean Payton
I said that. Remember, I said that on here. I wasn't on here. Maybe you did. I said, listen. You got Sean Payton coming in. That's like, I won a Super Bowl. I'm a very good coach. What'd you do last year? Oh, you were terrible. Yeah, shut up and listen.
I also saw that they might be looking to move Jerry Jeudy, which I'm very enticed about for Carolina. But like, a third round pick.
New England, I will take any wide receiver help ever.
Yeah, I mean he could be a steal for somebody. I mean he got injured a little bit. He obviously last year sucked for them, but he was a first round pick. Like if he was in this draft, he would be the first receiver to take it.
I remember him coming out of college. Everybody was in love.
Oh, they would have won the national championship if he didn't get hurt. He was killing.
In love.
He was just dusting everybody.
Last thing before we move on to our final topic, Eric Bieniemy leaves the Chiefs, goes over to the Washington Commanders in a what's the word? Lateral move. That's what it's called here. Lateral move. He goes from offensive coordinator one team to another one. So, I mean, hey, it's I like it though. I like it for him mainly because hopefully the Commanders have a good offensive year. I'm kind of rooting for them. They have a good offensive year, and then the whole thing of like, oh, it was all because of Andy Reid and this and that and this and that, like he finally put to rest. Apparently the whole thing with him always being a head coach was like doesn't interview well and this, and then I saw some people saying like he looked bad like at the press conference, like his tie was all messed up, and like, you know, if you go to an interview like looking sloppy, like that's already a mark against you and things. Listen, just little things of that nature, which, by the way, stupid, but true. I'm not going to lie, Josh. You go to a job interview and your tie's all messed up or, you know.
But did we learn nothing from Nick Sirianni's introduction interview? That man was a clown.
Press conference was terrible.
It was a clown.
You see, he already had the job. Maybe if he goes there and says, yeah, I really want to plant some seeds at this cow manure.
I think he might have. The way
I want
that
to play
man was
rock, paper,
talking.
scissors with all the draft picks to see if they're competitive. Because he would look at him and say, excuse me. What are you?
They were like, I don't know what he's saying, but he is so
passionate. But he's spitting right now. Let him cook.
Yeah. He's kind of cooking right now. We need more of this. We need more. I like the Eric Bieniemy move. You know, like you said, it's an opportunity for him to get away from that, you know, was he even doing anything in Kansas City? Because it's never been said that he was being calling plays. It was always they take turns or whatever, share it.
Sean McCoy always throwing shade at him.
Yeah, I love that the Tyreek Hill came out and defended Eric Bieniemy and all that too.
Right. Like that's like Chad Ochocinco talking about the Pats.
Yeah.
Or like Reggie White, who was on the Pats for like 35 seconds.
Yeah. Like, what did you weren't there.
Like, you didn't even play. You were garbage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no wonder you probably got feelings about the offensive coordinator because he wasn't calling your name.
Told him to tuck the ball away, and LaShawn did not like that. But that's kind of why I say I think Washington could be a sneaky team to jump up to get Bryce Young, you know, to really see what the enemy could do with a quarterback that he's not Patrick Mahomes, but he has crazy skill like that. But, you know, I could see them giving it to Howell for a year. Maybe. I mean, if you think about it, it's crazy. Last year's draft class, like, if all those quarterbacks were in this draft class, like, Kenny Pickett might go, like, third round.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's insane, the difference between it. And now, I mean, that last year's draft class kind of looks decent right now. I mean, Kenny Pickett's a dog. Brock Purdy's a dog. You know, Sam Howell finished the year off with a good game. We don't know anything really about Malik Willis and Matt Corral yet, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But I do like the move for Washington. I really like it.
All righty. Our final topic of the night. Going to switch to the MLB real quick, because we don't do too much on this show. I'm a big fan. Josh tried to get into it last year. I think he's just... Josh, by the way, I don't even know if I said this on this show. I'm going to opening day.
Hey.
I'm going to opening day for the good old Yankees.
I think I got to go to a Cubs game this year, man. I like their offseason moves. Dansby Swanson.
Dansby
like
Swanson, yeah.
Cody Bellinger, really like that.
Yeah. My brother, I had talked about going, and none of my friends really had said anything crazy. And then my brother's girl texted me, said, thinking about surprising Andrew, my brother, with some tickets. If I can find some for like a good price, like, would you want to go? Because I know you were talking about it. And I said, absolutely. Next thing I know, she's sending me a receipt for the tickets. So we're out. March 30th. March 30th, I will be at Yankee Stadium. Very excited. Watch everybody get introduced. Cheer for my boy, Aaron Judge. I'll be rocking the jersey, of course. And very excited. Very excited.
How do you feel about the Yankees? How do you feel about it?
How do I feel about it? Listen, they get Carlos Rodon in the offseason. So now they got Garrett Cole and Rodon at the top, followed by Severino, followed by Nestor Cortez, who, by the way, had the best ERA on the pitching staff last year. He's now our number 4 pitcher. So, I mean, the pitching staff is surely upgraded. And the second reason that I'm very confident in them is actually the topic that I was going to introduce is the MLB new rule changes. Because now, I know you had mentioned that, the shot clock is what you said, but I'll leave that one for last. So one of them is bigger bases. I think the bases are bigger by about 3 inches now. This is try to get stolen bases up more. You can also only throw over 2 times in one at bat. And if you throw over the 3rd time and you don't pick them off, all the runners move up a base. Ooh. So that's also supposed to be, and it is different though because if like there's a runner on first and then he steals second, you obviously get another 2 pickoffs. So if a runner ever advances, it resets and you get another 2. So that's 2 rule changes right there. The third rule change, which is one that I think affects the Yankees a lot, is the banning of the shift. I have had plenty of arguments with people about this. I hate the shift. Oh, they should just go the other way. Very easy to say when you don't have 98 miles per hour thrown at your hands. Like, oh yeah, just go the other way. The dude's throwing 98 and I'm supposed to try and hit it the other way. I can barely make contact.
Let me aim it.
Oh, they should just bunt. Yeah, because they're getting paid $35 million to hit singles. No, they're getting $30 million to hit home runs. That's what the analytics want them to do. That's what they're going to do. And the Yankees have hitters that get shifted against a lot. Their first baseman, Anthony Rizzo, he always had the shift where, there'd be one person on the left side of the infield, and then there'd be somebody playing basically like, it would be like, he was playing short right field. The third baseman would go out into the outfield and play short right field, and the right fielder could move back. So, there'd be times he'd rip a ball up the middle, and all of a sudden the shortstop is standing up the middle instead. Yeah. And then he would rip one to right field, and the person in short right field is standing right there, and it's an easy out. So that's gone now. You have to have, the new rule is 2 people have to be on either side of the base. So the third baseman and the shortstop have to be on that side of second base, and the first baseman and the second baseman have to be on the other side of second base, and they also have to be. They can't touch the outfield grass. So like even if you wanted to say like, oh yeah, well that's fine, whatever. We'll just have our second baseman still play short right field and have the first baseman do it. Can't do that. Have to be on the dirt. You have to be on the dirt. So I'm excited for that one. So I think that really helps the Yankees. I mean, even Aaron Judge got shifted against. They would put a lot of people on the left side of the field because he would pull it as a righty hitter. Gleyber Torres, he got shifted against. So a lot of people, you can't do these crazy shifts anymore. Sometimes they would put out 4 outfielders. They would make the shortstop or the second baseman go and be a 4th outfielder, and they would cut the outfield into 4th instead of it being a 3rd, and that took away everything. I think there's going to be a lot more hits. I think there's going to be a lot more action on the bases, which is more fun. I think it makes baseball a lot better. And then the one big one that you mentioned is the pitch clock. So without a runner on base, the pitcher has 15 seconds to throw the ball from the time they receive it back from the catcher. So they throw a pitch, catcher catches it, they throw it back to the pitcher. You now have 15 seconds before your next pitch. Also, the batter has to be in the batter's box with 8 seconds left on the clock. So it's not like the batter can just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to wait for 1 second to get back in, and the pitcher has to throw it because,
That's the one that ended the Red Sox-Braves game, right?
Yes.
See, I like the shot clock for the pace of the game. That's what I would complain about a lot last year, is how long it took. And I heard, what's the MLB reporter guy on the Pat McAfee show?
Jeff Passan.
Yeah, he was talking about it and how they used it in the minor leagues and it cut it
and that was the other thing. That's what I was going to say, Josh. So obviously, working for the Renegades last year, which is the Yankee Single-A affiliate team, they had the pitch clock the entire year. So I'm used to it now.
Right.
It is kind of weird, but I'm used to it because I worked for them all season last year.
Right.
They used it the entire season, and I don't think there was maybe an extra inning game, which there weren't a lot of at the Renegades. I think I was only there for 2 extra inning games. One of them they lost, one of them they won. I don't think I was ever there for a 3.5 hour game, which is normal in baseball. Last year, the average baseball game was 3 hours and 6 minutes, I believe it was. Something of that nature. Last year in the minors, the average game was 2 hours and 36 minutes. So it shaved off a lot of time. And you really do notice it. They have 15 seconds. And if it's not, it's a ball on the pitcher. And if the batter isn't in the box with 8 seconds left, it's a strike for the hitter. And they are going to enforce it. Could you imagine in the playoffs if something ends like this, blah, blah, blah? Well, I got 2 arguments for that. First, it's literally the first week of spring training. It's going to take them more than a game for them to get used to
season. It's already
it's going to take more than a game for them to get used to it. Don't worry. Because Jeff Passan even said today on Pat McAfee that all teams in the minors used it, and by the end of the year, it was down to a half infraction. There was half of an infraction every 2 games.
That's pretty
so it wasn't even happening.
Yeah.
I went to several. Like I said, I worked several Renegade games where nothing ever happened, and we would sit there. The pitcher would get the ball, they'd start the clock that's the other key important thing too. It's not like the NBA. The NBA when the shot So I'll relate it this way. MLB, it's once the pitcher starts his motion, he's good. So if there's 1 second left and the pitcher starts his motion with 1 second, he's fine. It's not the NBA where the ball has to be released from your hand before it goes off. Obviously with that Embiid shot, the ball was still touching his fingertips. That's why it didn't count. If this was the MLB, that shot would have counted because he started his motion before the clock went off. So those are, the rule changes. I think it's going to be really good. I love the shift one. I'm interested to see if the bigger bases actually do encourage more stealing. I hope it does because steals are exciting. Steals are exciting. The pickoff thing, I don't know how much that one will be a problem. Usually if there's a speedy runner on, you do see people throw over a lot. And also a lot of the time when somebody's warming up in the bullpen and they're not quite ready yet, you usually always see the catcher's going to call time. He's going to go out and talk to him. Then he's going to come back. He'll walk slow. Pick over a few times. Pick over 3 times in a row. Let him get, and then, maybe call timeout. I got to give some. That can't happen. Because if you throw over more than twice, the runner gets the next base. There's only 15 seconds between pitches. I think it's going to be a really good thing. People are going to get used to it. It's going to be the old man yelling at the cloud. You'll get used to it. It's fine. Listen, you notice it now because it's new. And I'll say, it is, if you watch the spring training game, you notice it. It's not, 45 seconds between pitches anymore. They have to be on the rubber and they have to throw the pitch or they're going to get docked for it. So it really does help the pace of play of the game. And that's what they're worried about. Because, Josh, here's our thing, right? We love football. Football games are 3 hours. 3 hours plus. Nobody cares, though, because there's action all the time. Last year, like I said, in baseball, it was 4.5 minutes between balls put in play. 4.5 minutes last year. I think in the 70s or something like that, which, the golden era or whatever, it was 2.5 minutes. And I think that's what it was in the minors last year too. So it's gonna, keep the game moving. So listen, if you have a 3.5 hour game, but the pitches are constantly being thrown and there's runners moving around and there's more base hits and there's more of this and there's more of that, it's more fun to watch. Listen, they're not doing this for me. I'm hooked. I've been a baseball fan literally my entire life.
This for me.
People,
this is for me.
Exactly, it is. It's for the casual fan that's like, bro, I'm not watching a 3-hour game where there's going to be one hit every 75 minutes.
Because now it's like a disadvantage to pitchers, though, like guys that take their time and obviously they are.
It's definitely gonna. I think it'll mess some people up the first month or two. And I think they're just going to get used to it. And here's the thing, like this new generation that's coming through the minors that have been playing with it, they're really going to be used to it. So, 5 years from now, this isn't going to matter at all. Everybody's going to be used to it by then. The new generation will be in the majors. They'll be like, oh yeah, I've been doing this the last 4 years. What do I care for? But at the beginning, I do think it'll mess some people up. Manny Machado's already mad about it. The Padres third baseman, he was like, I'll start every count 0-1. I don't care. Like, I'm not doing it. Okay, I'm sure you will.
He won me a little bit of money last year.
So, but yeah, I like the rule changes. That's what they were. They intrigue you, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually excited for baseball just because last year was just kind of like, okay, I'm just watching, learning some names, learning who's good, and just watching the game. But I even paid attention to some of the off-season moves too, so I'm excited for this season. I'm excited. This definitely is going to make it better with, just the pace picking up a little bit, not having to wait so long.
And like I said, you don't have to. But like, if you go watch a spring training game, like I'm watching the Yankee spring training game now, just because what else, and like you can obviously tell, like it's the game. I think the game started at 6:30. It's 5-2 right now. It's the bottom of the seventh.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Like, and it's 8:19.
Yeah.
So, like, these games are moving. So, if you get a chance, Josh, watch a spring training game, and you'll notice it.
Yeah,
like, especially from watching it last year to this year, you'll be like, "Damn, like, slow down." Like, I won't even lie. Like, I'm kind of used to it, but even it's different in the majors, I guess, because I know that they're like professionals and things like that. Maybe at the Renegades, it's because I was there. But like, I'm in bed watching the game. I'm like, oh my God, he's throwing another pitch. Like, I'm like, God damn, slow down. Like, I got to catch my breath. I'm like, Jesus.
Right,
so
right.
It's definitely going to make it better. But I'm excited to see how it goes. And listen, I think that's the show. I think it's a successful show, a fun show. We'll be back next week. You can follow me on everything, Anthony Conner _ on Twitter. You can find me there. Josh, I hand it over to you, and then we'll get out of here, huh?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Jolin_4. Make sure you head on over to Underdog Fantasy. Use code Gen Z. They'll be your first deposit. Also follow them on Twitter. They do a lot of merch giveaways too. You guess correct scores and all that, or numbers or stats, and you get some free Underdog merch. So make sure you follow them on Twitter too. And tune in next Monday, 7 Eastern.
Alrighty, with all that being said, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, y'all have a good one.